Donald Trump and his friends at the Fox propaganda outlet have really been struggling with one major thing since Kamala Harris became the Democratic nominee for president, and that is defining her. They can't pick an issue that they can try to negatively define her on. They tried saying that she is responsible for an unsecure border, but of course that backfired and reminded us all that Donald Trump is the one who blew up, who torpedoed the bipartisan border deal. They tried to say that she was soft on crime, but her career as a prosecutor, of course, negates that and only reminds us that Donald Trump is a convicted felon. And they tried to say that her and President Biden are running our economy into the ground when every metric would suggest the opposite, and it was in fact Donald Trump who did so. And so really at this point, they are grasping at straws to try to land some attack on Kamala Harris, and it's really not working, and actually going as far as to backfire, make them look even more disingenuous than they are, and of course remind us of the failures of the Trump presidency. But one of the worst attacks that I've really seen throughout this entire campaign is coming recently as Fox is testing out some new material, it seems, and I wouldn't be surprised to see Donald Trump try to use it on the campaign trail. But their attack on Kamala Harris, and it's just so ridiculous, is that she's using a fake Southern accent. Yes, it's crazy. It doesn't make any sense, but of course it is backfiring. It is making them look ridiculous. But before we get into Fox's Peter Doocy being shut down for pushing this weird conspiracy theory that doesn't make a lot of sense, let's first check out the clip that they are so upset about.
You better thank a union member for sick leave. You better thank a union member for paid leave. You better thank a union member for vacation time. Because what we know...
So maybe there's a little bit of twang in Kamala Harris's voice. I enjoy it. Maybe it's just the fact that she's excited, but I love that they're singling out this clip and saying that the worst thing that ever happened is Kamala Harris's voice sounds, I think it sounds pretty similar to how it always does. I'm not sure, but I love that they're not acknowledging what's happening in the rest of the clip, which is Kamala Harris talking about the way that unions have built this country, how they have ensured protections for workers, how they have guaranteed sick leave, they have guaranteed weekends, they have guaranteed childcare. And then they just completely negate that and skip over it, only to attack the way that she's speaking, which again is perfectly fine. But of course, it wasn't just the internet mocking MAGA and Fox for this ridiculous assertion. Karine Jean-Pierre, our incredible press secretary, shut down Peter Doocy, who is always really getting mocked for the ridiculous things that he says on behalf of Fox, in an excellent clip, and let's check that out.
Different topic. Since when does the vice president have what sounds like a Southern accent?
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well,
I mean, this is...
She was talking about unions in Detroit using one tone of voice.
Is this something that
same
you think...
line.
Okay, Peter.
That she used the same line in Pittsburgh, and it sounded like she at least had some kind of a Southern drawl.
Do you hear the question that you're... do you think Americans seriously think that this is an important question? They care... You know what they care about? They care about the economy. They care about lowering costs. They care about health care. That's what Americans care about.
So
that's what they want to hear.
This is something...
They care about, your colleague just asked me about, what basically we talked about, went back and forth about democracy and freedom. That's what they care about. I'm not even going to entertain some question about the president. It's just, hearing it sounds so ridiculous.
Well, but hearing it is...
The question, I'm talking about the questions, is just insane.
Is that how she talks in meetings here?
I'm just, Peter, we're moving on. We're so moving around. Go ahead, Anita.
Thanks.
I really love the direction that Karine Jean-Pierre takes this, because she could just be annoyed with Peter Doocy, which clearly we all are at this point. And after the years of dealing with them, I'm surprised that anyone wouldn't be. It would be my expectation, but it's not just that this attack is ridiculous and the fact that this is what Fox wants to talk about with 65 days left till an election really doesn't make a lot of sense. Of course, they're not an actual media outlet. They are a propaganda network for Donald Trump. Not a lot of journalism going on, but I love that Karine Jean-Pierre takes this in the direction of, is that really your focus, MAGA, Fox? That's your focus? Kamala Harris's accent? It doesn't make a lot of sense. Yeah, we're focused on the economy. We're focused on lowering costs. We are focused on making sure that we are building a better America. And it's so representative of Donald Trump, and it's really the MAGA movement at large, that they are always running a campaign of grievance. And it's like Tim Walz says, aren't we going to be so excited when instead of during Thanksgiving, we got the MAGA uncle bickering about some conspiracy theory, we can just enjoy ourselves and we don't have to worry about these insults and attacks all the time, that we can just actually unite. And that is something that we can do once we move on from this MAGA movement. But I think it's important that when Fox is focused on this, they're not actually focused on the job of covering Donald Trump and his agenda, and that the rest of the mainstream media should. So I want to play a clip from an interview that Donald Trump did today that I think needs to get more coverage.
Let me ask you about Project 2025. So you've publicly said that you don't have any direct connection to
nothing. I know nothing about it. And they know that too. Democrats know that. And I purposely haven't read it because I want to say to you, I have no idea what it's all about. It's easier than saying I read it and, all of the things. No.
If you want to talk about a contrast between these two campaigns, between the Kamala Harris campaign and Donald Trump's campaign, it's that Fox News is trying to distract Kamala Harris. Fox News is trying to get her to talk about anything else besides her incredibly popular policy and successful record, which is what she is focused on, laser focused on. And for Donald Trump, interviewers are trying to get him to talk about his record, to talk about his agenda, an agenda that he is running away from. As much as Donald Trump wants to lie about it, Project 2025 is his plan if he was elected president. There's no lying that he can do about this. And I love that his go-to line now on this is that he has purposely not read the document because he doesn't want to know what's in it. Of course, then he goes on to say, well, there are some good things that we all like, but I've never seen any part of it. But I think it's funny that he's saying he purposely didn't read it, when in fact, we know the truth. You could not read a 900-page document. That's not something that would happen for you, Donald. But again, this is the contrast in this campaign, is between the candidate who is talking about everything that actually matters in this race, and the media, the right-wing media, is trying to stop that, and Donald Trump, whose own advisors don't want him to speak because whenever he does, it's such a disaster, that all of his attacks backfire. And I think one clip of Peter Doocy getting shut down wasn't enough, so I want to check out another in which a MAGA attack backfires.
And how long have you guys known that Vice President Harris does not think President Biden is doing a good job at the border?
Wait, say that one more time?
Well, she's now promising to hire thousands more border agents than there are now under President Biden.
Wait, but start your question again.
How long have you guys known that Vice President Harris does not think that President Biden is effective with his border policy?
I mean, that you're making a huge jump. Why? She did not say this. This is something that you are assuming. I don't understand why you would assume that. It's not true.
She has a campaign ad where she is saying they need more Border Patrol agents. If President Biden's doing such a good job, why do they need any more border agents?
We both believe that. The president does want more Border Patrol agents. You know who's getting in the way? You know who's getting in the way? Republicans in Congress. They're getting in the way. You know who else is getting in the way? The former president, Donald Trump. He's getting in the way. I mean, there's no daylight here. I'm not understanding the question because there's no daylight. The president believes that as well, and he's worked towards doing that. There's a bipartisan, I know you guys probably get sick of me saying this, but there was a bipartisan agreement that was on the table that the president worked through for a couple of months with Republicans in the Senate and Democrats. They were told not to move forward because it would help Joe Biden by the former president. That's their decision.
And
What's so great about this race in many ways is that we have the records. We know what Donald Trump's record was as president. And I think on the border, it is one of the most important records because Donald Trump didn't actually care about building a wall or securing the border, which he did not do. The last few months of border crossings during the Biden-Harris administration have been lower than many months during the Trump administration. So let's get that straight. But I think it's so important because Donald Trump didn't want to solve this issue. He wanted to continue to politicize it. He wanted to continue to politicize it when he had the power to solve it. But while Kamala Harris and Joe Biden work to solve this issue, they're doing it in a bipartisan manner, while Donald Trump doesn't want to do that. And let's talk about Kamala Harris's experience. Kamala Harris already worked to secure the border when she was Attorney General of California. She prosecuted criminals coming across the border. She secured the southern border in California. She already did it. What did Donald Trump do? Not fulfill his promises? Not understand his own agenda? That is the difference. That's the difference between the two records here. Two records we are going to continue to talk about on this show every single day. And if you want to support the work that we're doing, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. Drop a blue heart in the comments if you stuck around to the end. And if you want to go an extra step in supporting us, I am a college student doing this show in my dorm every day, working hard to bring the news and to call out MAGA. So if you want to support us, you can click that join button, become a monthly member. It really goes a long way. And until next time, I'll see you soon.